everyone, I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
And back by popular demand, we're talking about Gotham again. Today, Eric and I are going to chat about the first 4 episodes of this season. It's season 4 of Gotham. We used to do this show episode to episode, and then we kind of got behind on it last season, and we just did the last 8 for last season. We have decided we're going to tackle this in 4-episode chunks as we move along, which is why we've waited as long as we have. That's how many episodes Hulu gives you at a time. We kind of want to talk about the show in chunks rather than episode to episode, partly because we're not doing that with a bunch of other shows like we used to, and Eric and I have plenty of other things on our plate, but also because we discovered last season, oddly, this show binges, at least lately, better than it watches episode to episode. And it's kind of more fun to sit down and watch several at a time and talk about it all together, because, I don't know, especially because this show is not especially episodic. And I mean, like, it's the story right now is tighter than it has been in a long time, but this show has never really been, with the exception of some stuff in first season, right? Here's even with an overarching story, going throughout a season, like, here's a story to sit down and sink your teeth into. Especially the last couple seasons, it doesn't really do that. It's kind of better to have more material, I think.
I agree.
To sit down and chat about. So anyway, we'll just talk about how the season opens and kind of where we are right now and everything in between, as much as we can fit in about 40-45 minutes. So Eric, we talked about this after we watched the first episode. We did that last night, and then we watched the rest today. I'm in agreement with you. I think this is the best season opener we've had.
I think this is,
at least since the first season.
I think this is the best opening to a season. Like, we really liked last season, but so far I think this is the strongest we've had at the opening of the season.
The big thing for me, well, first of all, just the overarching story that's the kind of inciting incident that's affecting everything is hilarious and ludicrous and wonderful, and I love that we're not away from it yet. The crime is illegal plot with licenses that the Penguin can issue that will allow you to do bad things to people and nobody can stop you. Oh, it's wonderful. It's such a 60s Batman plot, and like we said a lot last season, this show absolutely knows what it is now. It has not dropped off from that. It's very self-aware, and it's just a cartoon for adults now.
Yeah,
and,
it's great.
It's such a wonderful, hilarious melodrama. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and even I don't know. We still do the love story thing, where it's maybe gonna take itself too seriously. It seems like that's the constant with the show, because it seems like it thinks it has to do that in order to keep a particular contingent of its viewership, maybe. But anyway, the reason the first episode of the season I think is so good, comparatively, is because it's like Power Rangers. You always have to say for the show.
But remember, I said this is Power Rangers for adults.
Yeah, it is, and it remains that wonderfully. Yay! But anyway, it's all the subplots immediately connect to each other.
Yeah, everything.
And we've never had that.
Everything is connected and building from the same impetus. Even when Bruce Wayne's kind of going off doing his own thing, like, it's still from the same the Penguin giving out licenses thing.
Yeah, it's all interwoven, and you like consistently now we're in a place where you're never wondering why you're watching the scene you're looking at. Thank God. I mean, it took forever before we finally opened a season that way. Although I can't remember if last season was exactly that way or not. I mean, it seemed like we were already kind of impressed with it as it started last year.
Yeah, but I think Bruce Wayne was still off doing his own stuff.
Yeah,
at the very least.
So that's really exciting, and I think 4 episodes in, it's still doing that.
I agree. It's staying really tight for this show.
There are some things that are dangling and stuff, but they all started from a place that was at least connected to the A story, and I really appreciate that.
Well, and even the Ra's al Ghul stuff isn't necessarily connected, but like it's being interwoven into everything else just as much.
Yeah, there's not really anything with the exception of whatever's going on with Ivy now, and that's kind of the big dangling thing right now is just, what was it, like second episode, we lost her and she's not come back yet. She went nuts and took some...
She drank a bunch of Monster formula or something?
Yeah, and we haven't seen her since then, so we'll see. She's probably on, Bane formula or something.
I'm telling you, I don't
Venom
think
or something.
I don't think she's going to be that different. I think she's just gonna be green. I think this is how we're gonna get Green Ivy.
No, I think you're absolutely right.
But they did.
But I think
like,
they will
did
physically
the
change
face
what she looks like.
Bubble thing,
And that was monster.
So maybe we'll just change the actress again. I don't know.
Yeah. I said Venom. Maybe even Titan. Maybe it'll be like big, giant, crazy. Probably
that would be
not.
weird.
They probably won't do that. And then they'll like reel it back later.
Yeah.
We'll like split the middle. We'll have like big, giant, like 9-foot tall Ivy, and then we'll split the middle. But yeah, and it's not just that all the subplots are coming from the same well. It's that because I guess they're not, but they're just all interwoven. Like it's nice that each of the like kind of B story plots are dealt with by other characters. There's not one person who's just all off on an island like we used to do all the time with this show.
Yep.
So
everything's kind of interconnected, and even if it's not springing from the same place, like it still connects to other things. Like there is no like singular strand that's going off on its own.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and talk about just several of the big things going on right now. I guess we should probably start with Proto-Batman Bruce Wayne. You thought that they probably would drop that right away. I'm really glad that didn't happen.
Yeah, me too.
And I have my issues with it, but so far so good. It's kind of fun.
You know what the biggest thing is? I think I completely buy him in fight scenes.
Yeah.
Which I think could have been the biggest hurdle is, this kid's trying to fight adults, and I mean maybe it's because he's also aged, he's 16, 17 at this point. So
and
it's
the
a little bit more
choreography has
believable.
gotten so good in this show.
Yeah. So I think that was the biggest hurdle was, is it going to be silly that this kid is fighting people? And it's not. Mask isn't great.
No.
When he finally gets
not.
a mask, but
that was somewhat to be expected, I guess. But it's weird because the villain costuming in the show has usually been pretty good, pretty above board.
Yeah.
But like, what exactly do you do with a proto Batman costume? Which is why I don't think I would have done that. Like, I think I would have probably just left him in the ski mask until he finally put on a batsuit. I don't know if this middle ground thing already is really necessary, but I mean, I get like he's got to wear protective gear, but maybe he could have been smart enough to put that on in the first place. He is a billionaire after all. Like if we had ended last season with Bruce Wayne already in Kevlar, I don't think anybody would be like, "Hey, how did he get Kevlar?" Well, I mean, it's not that hard to get Kevlar,
Yep. But I think it
here in
works.
1955, it's probably hard to get that, but in 1985, you can get that at any corner drugstore.
Well, when you're a millionaire.
Yeah, with a time machine.
But I think it completely works. We've spent a lot of time with false starts for Bruce Wayne, where he's like, now I'm finally gonna buckle down and become what I'm gonna be. Oh, but Selena's doing this thing over here. Oh, but the Court of the Owl is like, and we're actually like on that course now. And
the problem I have with it though is that it doesn't feel like a course yet. It feels like we're. It feels like we're just kind of sitting in the starting place, and he's going to have to keep relearning the same lessons over and over and over again, like he has with a lot of other things in the show. I mean, I guess it is some of the same things he's probably going to be doing as a vigilante, but just like, like should I thrust myself into danger all by myself?
But he is. I mean,
what's my self-discipline? What's my motivation?
In some ways, he's kind of already Batman. Like, he's already talking to Commissioner Gordon. He's just going and solving things. It just happens to be that it's the first time he's doing that.
Yeah, but my problem with it is that Alfred has to keep bailing him out just over and over and over again, constantly. Like, and he always bails him out with like, here's a lesson you need to learn, and it could be problematic in a couple of different ways. He could either never learn the lessons that Alfred's trying to teach him, and he has to keep bailing him out and telling him the same things, or he can learn them too easily. It can be like, okay, well now he's magically. I'm not saying that this is the case, but it's possible that down the road we'll find out that after that one incident on a boat, he's magically figured out how to talk to people in the right accent. Yeah. And we can find out that like he magically has a better sense of like when to do the brat Bruce Wayne thing and when not to.
Which is my one big complaint with what we're doing is like Alfred's like, why don't you act like a spoiled rich brat? And I'm like, but everyone in this city knows who you are. He talks to Penguin. He spoke to Penguin like literally the previous episode.
Yeah.
And it would be like if in Smallville all of a sudden there was just a light switch and he started acting like movie Clark Kent, where he was like bumbling and fumbling, and like everyone's like, oh well, that's just how Clark is. Like,
Well,
Bruce Wayne's been really involved with the rich community of this city. Like, they all know what he's like.
Like, Smallville did have that problem to a degree in that, like, he starts wearing glasses and everybody knows that he doesn't wear glasses,
right.
but he's at least living in a different city, but the city's too close, and that was always the issue I had with it. This is way worse than that.
It's just like a light switch. Everyone's like, yep, that's spoiled brat Bruce Wayne, but that's not what he's been for the past 3 years.
But we also have really old-school comic book and cartoon logic in this show. And I'm never sure. That's my biggest issue with it still, is just I'm not sure where that line should be drawn. Mm-hmm. And, like, at least it knows how goofy it is now, but it still doesn't always. I'm not always sure where that line should be.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. It's just, they all know him. I mean,
because, like, people are stupid in the show.
That's true.
But are they that stupid? That's always my question.
Penguin for mayor.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You know, well, and Barbara Keene, the sheet of paper that says she's sane now, and everybody's cool with whatever she's doing now.
Yep.
Like, she's talking to foreign countries and things, and people are just like, oh yeah, Barbara Keene's talking to Nana Parbat now, and
yep.
Everybody turns a blind eye to things she does because, no, she's sane now. Yeah, so I mean, how stupid are they?
Yeah. But our main cast isn't. Like, Penguin should be like, you're acting different.
Yeah. No, absolutely he should.
But, yeah, I don't know. Other than that, I like what we're doing with Bruce. I think he's really growing into that role. He really does feel like a young Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, clearly that kid is like having a lot more fun in the role and in the show than he was a couple of years ago. I felt like middle of season 2, his eyes were glazing over and he was kind of done. I felt like I was seeing maybe on screen like a shattering disillusionment where he was like, oh, I thought I was going to get to play Batman, you know, and now he's getting to play Batman. But I don't think it's just that he's in the suit now. Like, you saw this in season 3. Like, he really came alive in that Joker episode.
And whoever's doing the costuming is doing a wonderful job. Because he dresses.
You don't
like,
mean with the Kevlar thing?
Yeah. No. I mean the way he dresses with his blazers and his suits and his. He dresses like I would think Bruce Wayne dresses, and I really appreciate that.
And he's still growing into that role.
Yeah.
Like, I said this to you yesterday, but I think 10 years from now, that kid is liable to look like the most Bruce Wayne, actor we've ever had. It was like, oh, that guy somebody should cast that guy as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
So obviously Penguin continues to be hilarious and lots of fun.
He's great. He's wonderful.
And Zaz is doing more.
Yeah, he's really funny.
You said you thought he was like suddenly sillier than he was, and I didn't really pick up on that or agree with you until this last episode, and then he got really goofy. But yeah, he's lots of fun.
Yeah, they both are. They're a lot of fun. Zaz is just doing whatever he does.
Yeah, just being the henchman guy who loves killing people and.
He likes to throw in jokes.
Strangle you.
I would stab you.
We should. Oh yeah, stab you. We should note that Ben McKenzie wrote an episode.
Yeah, he wrote the last episode, which is really good.
Yeah,
and has the best line.
One of the better
thus far of the season.
What was it?
It was. It's when Mr. Freeze comes out and he goes.
Yes.
He goes. Do you want a new pose or the same pose? And then Nick was just like And he's like, same pose, got it.
Do you want a new? That's fantastic.
That's great.
Not sure about the Riddler thing yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not in love with that choice. It is super absurd, and it's fun to watch him play it as always. And I kind of thought it would be maybe even mid-season before it got thought out. Like, I thought they would drag that out just because that's so absurd, just to keep him frozen. Yeah. So I don't know. Do you like even that he's thought out already?
I like what we're doing with him and Penguin. I like that he's nothing to Penguin, and he's not worried about him at all. I think there's something fun about that.
I have a knee-jerk reaction to the he's dumb now and he has to like come back to being the Riddler, but it's the kind of thing you can get away with better in this show.
It feels really, really comic booky and cartoony.
Yeah. The thing is, we've done that kind of identity thing with Edward Nygma going all the way back, and I'm kind of tired of it now. Like once he embraced the Riddler persona, and we stopped doing the multiple personality thing.
You're annoyed that we have to work to the Riddler again.
I don't want to get back. I don't want to have to work back to it. It kind of screams, even for this show. I think just 4 episodes in, and we'll see where it goes next episode. Because honestly, I thought they would stretch the thing with him and the woman that's his biggest fan, that's probably going to be Query and or Echo, and it was nice they didn't stretch that out any farther than they did. But it kind of reeks to me of we kind of don't know what to do with him.
But then why bring him back? Why not just leave him there until they have something to do with him?
Contracts.
Yeah.
People like that actor and they want to keep seeing him play Riddler.
That's fair.
You know, there's like knowing you want to see actors keep doing things together and knowing what exact direction to take it in. It just kind of screams like we don't really know what like where to go with Penguin and Riddler after what we did with them last season, which is why I would have kept them frozen until you kind of had it figured out and maybe got some other balls out of the air. But I'm just saying that 4 episodes in.
Yeah, I don't hate what they're doing. I think it could potentially be fun.
But isn't that nuts? Because you would have in any other show.
Well, yeah. Yeah, no, in any other show, if somebody thaws out, well, like, first of all, they'd be alive, and that would be weird, but then be like, oh, and my brain doesn't work. But no, it's totally fine in the show. It's great. It's fine.
I'm excited that we haven't had to yet deal with Leslie Tompkins again. I know she's going to come back because her name is in the credits.
It keeps showing up, which is weird.
Mm-hmm. Again, it could be just contractual obligation thing.
She needs to stay gone.
Yeah, no, I think so too. And we said that last season.
We had her for one scene, but
it wasn't actually her.
It was
the actress.
It was his greatest fear, which. He was like, no, Lee would never say things like this. Totally would. She was completely in character, and his hallucination about,
so too.
The worst she could possibly be is exactly what that character is.
He was like, Lee would never say that. I was like, Lee said that to you no fewer than 5 times last season. When she's like, everything you touch, you destroy everything you touch. I'm like, no, she kind of kept saying that to him last season, if memory serves.
And I wouldn't, she's really dramatic, I wouldn't put her past herself to slit her wrists in the bathtub and then call Jim Gordon to come see her. Like... No, this all seems really believable. What is the fear toxin doing to you? Sorry, fear juice. Or scare juice. It's scare juice.
That's they used both, but just different people calling it different things.
But, stay gone. We don't want you back. It's not your fault. You're a great actress, but they don't know what to do with that character. Just stay gone.
Here's what I think needs to happen with Gordon. We are into the 4th season now. We need to introduce a character that makes a lot of that is just like really level-headed, normal person for this show, who doesn't have to get involved in everything beyond maybe getting kidnapped a couple times because it's a melodrama and that's what you do in these. But she doesn't need to work at the police station. She doesn't need to work at Arkham. She doesn't need to be a reporter. Or she could have been a reporter. That could have worked. What I'm trying to say is...
Normal girlfriend?
For a season and then marry him off. This character should be married by now.
I thought you were going to say we're 4 seasons and it's time for him to start growing his mustache.
Well, okay, maybe do that along with his getting married. I think it's kind of weird to have a Jim Gordon that isn't married yet. This far into your Gotham show.
Yeah, but that's not how we do TV.
Yeah, but you could.
Yeah,
but this show plays by its own rules.
That's true.
You could. The thing is, what holds this show back from being the best insane melodrama it can be is whenever it does feel the need to conform to regular modern TV tropes.
You're right.
That's what ruins it.
You're right.
And that's the main thing that ruins it. Is whoever Gordon is paired up with. I mean, the best they did was the reporter last season. You know, what was Valerie Vale. But they didn't keep them together long enough, and they fell in love in 35 seconds, just like he does with everybody. And it looks like that's happening with Falcone's daughter, which is really silly, and not the right kind of silly. That whole thing I do not like, I do not need. I don't need I don't need young female Falcone stand-in because that actor's not gonna be in the show all the time. Maybe that's not exactly what we're doing with it, but I mean, like, it seems like they're just doing the typical, like, play with the viewer's emotions, like, are we supposed to, like, see this as an endearing character and like her? Is she in?
I do think the actress plays it really well.
Out? Yeah, she's fine. She's serviceable. I'm not impressed with her.
I thought she plays the different, like, sides of what she's doing well.
You think so?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just kind of glazed over during those scenes, like, because I think it's really predictable. I kind of feel like I already know where that's going to go.
I mean, that's fair, but I think she plays the different. Like, she plays kind of the damsel, and then the strong woman, and then the evil woman. I think she plays all of those pretty differently, and I think she plays them well. I mean, we've seen the story a bunch.
Yeah.
I need to know what it is in Gotham. Like, I need to know, like, what the spin is.
Yeah. It kind of feels like they just think they're being cute because, like Lee was, getting married to, the son, and so now the daughter's got to get with Gordon, and I don't know. That, like... It's hard to, again, decide, like, what to do with the soap opera elements in a show like this, because it being so melodramatic, it makes sense to have some soap opera elements, but
they're not being played as extreme as how we're doing everything else.
Yeah,
they're being played
extreme,
more like actual drama.
They're not being played as fun.
Yeah,
like the rest of the show is. So I don't know. That's my issue with that whole thing. But what else should we talk about?
Scarecrow.
Yeah.
I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know if the actor playing Scarecrow is actually bad. I think they've made a choice in how he's going to play it,
yeah,
and it's weird and I don't like it.
I think they're just trying to do Kid Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, but like he sounds afraid at all times, and it gives him really weird line deliveries that I don't like. Like he sounds like a little kid.
See, and I don't know. Is that just a taste issue? Like,
I don't know. Like, I think the point is, like, maybe the point is that it's supposed to be like, oh, it's like a kid putting on his dad's clothes and, like, he's playing at this. But it doesn't work for me because he's not menacing at all. He sounds silly. I think the costume is cool.
Yeah.
But he sounds silly. And so, I don't know. I'm not sure. He's not working for me.
I don't know if I have a read on it yet. I'm kind of indifferent toward it. I didn't think it was too silly for the show, but
I don't know. Like, but it's entirely the performance. I'm not sure if he's intentionally
doing. The take is kind of interesting, right? That you would have somebody that remains, because they're sort of doing the Batman Begins thing, like actually with Batman, sort of, but kind of perverted, where it's. The kid, like, stays perpetually terrified of the thing that he's turned into, and we kind of ran into that really fast, right?
Yeah.
Where he's like, you either stay terrified or you just become your demon.
Yeah, you can't overcome your fear. You can only become it, like I have.
Yeah. But the idea of remaining terrified and sounding scared all the time while you're making other people scared is kind of a cool idea. But I mean, I'm with you. I don't know yet if it's actually effective. But I'm kind of indifferent toward it. I'm not sure.
Okay. I mean, I don't hate it. I just don't love it. But I do like their costume.
I'm distracted by the giant eyes inside of the mask.
The Gowron eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when he takes the mask off.
But it's impressive you can keep that up all the time, because at first it almost looked like they glued eyes into the mask, because they just like pop out almost around the mask.
Yeah, it was really impressive. That he just, I guess I didn't think about that, because like when he takes the mask off, he goes back and forth.
Yeah,
like he just kind of looks.
But when it's on, he's always doing the Gowron eye thing. Yeah.
Yep. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm not in love with it. And he wasn't there last episode. Now, was he there the episode before that?
No.
Okay.
No, it seems like he's probably going to be our Mad Hatter this season.
Yeah, he has a couple lines that are basically just lines from Batman Begins.
Yes. Almost verbatim, a couple of them, yeah.
We've done this, and I was thinking about this. You know what would be nice? If we got a couple of those that were comic book lines. Like, because it really feels like they've just seen the movies in some ways, where I'm like, no, it's fun that you almost verbatim do a couple of lines from the movies. That's fine. But wouldn't it be nice if there was a couple classic comic book lines that got done like that? I don't know.
I suppose. But they throw those things in there for people to be like, oh, hey, cool, I know that. And where they get in the maybe I'm gonna accidentally make your point for you. Like where they get in the deep pulls is just some of the obscure characters people don't know that they get in there. We're like, it seems like, because obviously they're looking at books. It's not like they're not looking at books.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So my guess is the reason they don't do more of that kind of thing is just because there's not as much of an audience that will in the moment appreciate it. Whereas with just deep pull characters, the people who know them can be like, oh, that's cool, and then everybody else can just be introduced to a character in the first place.
But if there was a show ever more designed to use Dark Knight Returns dialogue, like, this is the place you do, it's an operating table, I'm the surgeon. Now, you wouldn't do it now because the other movie did it, but, like, I don't know. I mean, like, it's not a complaint, but, like, I noticed a couple of movie lines. I'm like, it'd be cool if there was some pulls from other Batman plays. Not even comics, like, I don't know, throw in some Arkham lines that are
yeah,
no,
that's,
not, like,
that's fair.
I just like to see him pull some lines from some other places. But I feel like we should talk about Barbara.
Yeah.
Who's completely different, and I still like her, but not as much as I did last season.
Yeah.
She's fun, but I liked her being crazy. I liked her being almost the Joker. And now she's way more reserved.
And that's another place where I feel like they kind of just are not sure what to keep doing with that character. Gotham seems to rely on reinventing characters when they're kind of to the end of an arc, but they don't want to arc. I don't mean a character arc really so much as just we've been doing this for a while.
It's
and we kind of
almost
took it to its greatest extent, and because this show plays to twist, but again, being a melodrama can get away with that. So what it'll do is it'll be like, wouldn't it be really shocking and crazy if we killed this character now, or made you sort of maybe think that maybe they're dead? Whenever they do that with a character, especially at the end of the season, we've had enough of the show now. I'm starting to see these patterns, especially as it's more confident in the kind of show it is. What it'll do now is it'll go, okay, we're just gonna reinvent this character because we want to keep that actor around.
It's almost the way comic books function, right?
Yeah,
we're like
sure.
a writer comes in, does a run, and
except it's the same people. All the time.
Except it's the same people. Where it's like, well, that feels like a fine ending for that, and then the next writer comes in, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna give you my take on what that character is, and it's gonna be completely different.
Yeah, but sometimes it's almost even like the Angel Illyria thing, where it's like we'll take this actor and we'll have them play a totally different character, except it's just with the same name. You know what I mean?
I'm waiting for Barbara to flip. Like, I feel like that is going to happen.
And I always thought they would find some crazy contrivance to back her back into being totally sane again and getting married to Jim.
We're not doing that.
I think it's possible.
Oh, really?
I really do. Yeah. I think this is our first step toward sanity with her, because she's not a raving lunatic anymore, and like getting with.
See, I'm hoping
getting with Roz into the Lazarus Pit. Weirdly, has kind of made her like more. I mean, docil's not the right word, but she's
reserved.
She's a little more reserved now. Yeah.
I'm hoping that she's kind of like a mask. We're gonna see a break, and like she's gonna. Like, she's just playing at being calm, and, like, something's gonna happen, and she's gonna flip. I liked her being
So when you
crazy.
said flip, I thought you meant flip back to what she was before.
No. I mean flip out, like, as a crazy
possible.
person. I hope not. I like her crazy.
I think it could be a you're not yourself plot for the last 3.5 seasons. Because the show's nuts, and like I've always said that she and Gordon are going to get back together, and at the end of last season I didn't think that was possible, but now that we resurrected her via Lazarus Pit and we're reinventing her again, another reinvention could be around the corner.
She's now running.
I kind of want to be wrong about that, because these writers consistently continue to not be able to write like good people who are women for the most part. I mean, I still like their Selena much of the time, but of course she's duplicitous and
and
ambiguous,
and Valerie was good last season, but we wrote her out real quick.
Yeah.
But no, she's running guns.
You either get written out a hero, or you live long enough to see or you're on the show long enough to see yourself become a crazy psychopath who needs a piece of paper to get out of Arkham.
But she's running guns now, which still seems like a club. Like, she's like, I'm not running a club. I'm doing something different. But then we go there, and there's people there, like, hanging out, like, looking at the guns and stuff. But she's got lots of guns. Zaz takes the one for the guns.
It's not a.
Is it a gallery? Is that what it is?
Well, no, I just mean that like that's how it operates. You know what I mean? We're like you bring people into the place and they look at the
Okay, all right. That makes sense.
they're just gun runners now.
Yeah, which is totally legal and above board because they have a license. I'm
still not sure how far the license goes.
License for misconduct. The only thing we know is that they
made a big deal of they can't use it for murder, but then
that's the
a
only
couple
limit
episodes
we're aware
ago.
of.
Somebody acted like they could maybe use it for murder, and so I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, when they
had Bruce,
yeah, you're right.
Where he's like, we can do anything we want to you, and then he put a gun to his head, and I'm like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't lean on the license like that if you thought you could get away with it, and they clearly had every intention of killing him. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Why can't I remember her name right now?
Tabitha?
The Tabitha, thank you. The chick with the whip. I'm still ready for her to go.
She's a tabby cat.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Now I'll remember it. I never thought of that. Now I'll remember it. Anyway, yeah, Tabitha isn't like irritating anymore. She's just got nothing. Like
She just needs to die, and
it really
motivate
feels like she
Selena.
was just there so that Gallivant could have a henchman, and then so that Selena could eventually get the whip, and that was a slow burn, right? It was 2 seasons with that whip.
Well, it's like they
before we
forgot
finally
that
passed
that's
it
what
off
they
to
were going to do
Selena.
with her, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's why we brought her in.
Because I said forever, no, they're still going to do that. And at the end of last season, you were like, holy crap, did we wait that long?
Well, yeah, because season 2 was when we were still doing that, like, everyone is inspired by someone that's exactly them and
Yeah.
what they're going to be, and she was one of the last ones of those, and I just thought we got away from it.
Oh,
but-
that's something that I wanted to compliment the show on with regards to Jonathan Crane. It's keeping track of its continuity, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's keeping track of its continuity really well.
Because I didn't remember those episodes that well, and they started to come back to me a little bit. Like, his motivations seem pretty in line.
It's really
where we
impressive
are
how
back
much they're
then.
keeping track of the stuff that they've even, like, thrown away.
Yeah,
Like
that
we're
they
not
don't like anymore.
Yeah, we're not making that show anymore, but we're not going to say it didn't happen because it did. We're not going to be disrespectful to our viewers. They watched it. We're not going to say it didn't happen. We'll change
that's
it
kinda nice.
Completely, but it did happen before.
Yeah, they'll use. Yeah, where they're like, you know what, you're right. That's not what we should have done with Ivy. We'll just age her. You know.
Yeah, we'll just do something different.
And they'll use like every like sleazy TV and like soap opera plot trick in the book, but they'll at least give the audience enough credit to not pretend like things they won't McFarlane us. That's where they draw the line, is they won't McFarlane us.
Yeah.
So that's nice of them, I
That's
suppose. I was disappointed that we killed the kid that was the museum kid.
The kid who was clearly going to be Bookworm.
Yeah, because
I wasn't disappointed. I respected it.
because they killed the child on screen.
I was so... When you put a child in danger, they never die.
Eric loves it when we kill children
And
on screen.
and he slit his throat, and we were both shocked. We were like, oh my god, they killed that kid.
And I actually thought...
And this is a show where we cut people's hands off left and right.
Yeah, but in the moment I was like, I don't know if even that's a little too far for this show. Like... Because the problem is... We're having so much fun with this ultra-violent cartoon. When we do things like that, it's like, yeah, but like, killing a kid should always be serious?
Should it?
Well, I don't know.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Why should that be any more serious than anything else we do in this show?
I don't know. It's just...
And I mean, it's plays a dramatic moment.
It
like,
is,
Like,
yeah.
Bruce is real messed up by it. Like, it's not like it's not taken seriously to some degree.
No, that's true. And actually, I don't mean to be all over the place. I have a knee-jerk reaction when you like murder a kid on screen like that, especially in a show that's kind of a comedy masquerading as a drama. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of question it. Like, I wonder if there are things the show has done where I go, I don't know if that's maybe going a little bit too far. You know what I mean? Like with some of like the BDSM imagery and things that I've said in the past, I can't decide if they should be considered sexist or not. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's one of those things where I just kind of have a knee-jerk reaction where I'm like, I don't know if that's okay. Should that be okay? I don't know if that's okay.
I mean, I have no problem with it. Stop putting kids in danger if you're not going to kill them. That's all I'm saying.
We know who our audience
Just
is.
say occasionally, not every time, but sometimes.
Well, and I'm not saying you should never kill a kid on screen. I'm saying that for the viewing pleasure of an audience that's enjoying this as 60s Batman. But then you're right. At least it's dramatic for the sake of the show. I mean,
For the characters.
For
in universe,
the
they're taking it seriously.
context of this show. So maybe it does. Maybe it's okay. I did kind of like that moral dilemma. Okay, we're like, I don't know that Bruce is right or wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not really sure.
Right then. I mean, I can see both sides of it right off. We just watched it, so I'm I haven't had a lot of time to process it, but
Ra's al Ghul's
that's kind of
great.
nice.
He's so great in that scene. Also, in his secret identity as Ra's al Ghul.
Which is so silly, because the Bookworm kid, and so that's what I was going to say a minute ago. Eric and I were both immediately like, hey, maybe that kid's going to be Bookworm, and then it turns out that he's just a new friend for Bruce Wayne that gets killed off in one episode. And I thought that kid was really good.
Yeah, he was good.
So that's part of why I was disappointed we killed him off. But anyway, maybe that's my whole thing, is I like that kid. I wish we hadn't killed him off. But it's funny because he was familiar with Ra's al Ghul in history, but then Ra's al Ghul is going around calling himself Ra's al Ghul. That's ridiculous.
Yep, as the what does he say he is? He's that's not a minister. It's
yeah, I think it was.
He's a minister.
Yeah, I think that's what they said. Yeah.
Okay.
Minister of Foreign Affairs or something, or Minister of something rather.
Yeah. But yeah, he's Ra's al Ghul, Minister of Foreign Affairs, who moonlights as Ra's al Ghul,
If you go
the
around,
demon's head, leader of the League of Assassins.
It's ridiculous because he's 2,000 years old and nobody knows he exists, but somehow or other he gets away with going around calling himself
when he was
the mystical Ra's al Ghul from a story that everyone thinks is not real.
When he was telling the story about what happened in the past, where he's like, and no one saw him again, I was waiting for, and there are rumors that he might even be a minister within our own government.
And like maybe they're gonna play it as like, you know, he just really wanted that knife, so this is the first time he's ever done that. I mean, maybe it's that kind of thing, but that's just so silly.
I mean, at least Gordon wasn't like wait, you're the Ra's al Ghul, which was the joke that we made, but he doesn't react like that. Like he's just like, okay, whatever. I wasn't fooled. Not even a second.
The show clearly forgot that in the teaser of the first episode of this season, they had him following Bruce Wayne around.
No, they completely
forgot about that, because why does he need someone else to help him find Bruce Wayne? He's been following him around. Why wouldn't he be keeping tabs on him?
Yep.
Now, he didn't seem to bring anybody with him.
No, he has no one working for him.
So that's weird.
Yeah.
He's just working totally on his own.
Well, and then he calls in the dog man.
The crazy dog man. Can you imagine the audition for that role?
Well, you know, you think about it like that.
And Ben McKenzie wrote that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he came up with it or not, but that's hilarious.
But you probably don't cast that like you cast a normal part. Like, that's probably like a Cirque du Soleil guy, right? Like, that's something you cast for physicality, not for performance.
Yeah, but I still want to see the audition. I still want to see that as an audition.
It's like 3 different people like running around.
Yeah.
Like I'll run like this.
No, I'm not saying
like, no, I'll run like this.
People get brought in for that role, but
I'll run like this.
They might actually hold auditions. You know, we're gonna talk to like 20, mimes or Cirque du Soleil people or whatever. Yeah.
That was weird.
It was, but very, very, very much what the show is. Yeah, Ben McKenzie clearly gets what show he's in. I was really impressed with his writing.
If I can lob one major complaint across these 4 episodes, we haven't gotten one really good Bullock line.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. Like, I like Bullock, he's still good, but like Bullock has certain, like, he gets those lines where it's like, that's a great Bullock line.
Yeah.
He hasn't gotten one yet.
I feel like there were 1 or 2, but they weren't super memorable. I don't remember them right now, and they weren't like, you know, classic. They weren't shiny shoes or anything. But I also am surprised by, again, always within the context of the show. I am also surprised by how much I'm actually buying into his dilemma of wanting to stop the licenses, but he can't. All the reasons that it's just too complicated for him to do that, because the commissioner upstairs, it tells him not to do that, and then he's got all these cops that are too afraid to put themselves in harm's way, and like he has a lot of legitimate reasons for feeling like he has to do that, even though obviously he would rather go with Gordon's methods, and I think that it's doing a really good job this season of remembering where some of these characters came from, even, you know? I mean, like, there's a lot of first season Bullock there, where it's like, oh yes, this is the guy who was part of that system in the first place, but was, you know, kind of smarter than a lot of these other cops. Like, he would love for things to not be as corrupt, but it's Gotham, there's no way around it.
This is my new question for people that watch this show legitimately and seriously, because those people exist.
Yeah.
My new question is, so the moral dilemma for the captain of the police is whether or not he will honor licenses for
crime?
For crime. How
I
can
want
you
one of
think
those
it's a
so bad.
serious show? Like, it's clearly a really weird dark comedy.
Yeah.
It's the only way the show makes sense, I think.
And I mean, I know we keep making that point, but I
think it's doubling down with such an absurd premise.
Yeah, and it opens with it.
And it rickrolls us.
It rickrolled us in the first episode. That's hysterical. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there were any other major things we want to weigh in on right now. Obviously, we'll keep talking about this through the season. I imagine we'll have 4 or 5 episodes, or 4 or 5 videos from us.
I can't think of anything else major. Selina's just kind of in a holding place right now.
Yeah.
We'll see where she goes. Although the scene with her and Bruce on the roof felt like a real Batman Catwoman scene,
and I
where
like that a lot.
They're kind of flirting back and forth, and he has to go do his responsible thing, and she does what she does. I didn't like the scene where she comes to the mansion. She's like, "Do me a solid, give me that $2 million knife."
Oh, real quick, because I'm all over the place, but before we finish up, because I want to mention something about Selena, but I also have to mention that I think my favorite scene, maybe my favorite scene so far this season, is the auction scene.
Yeah, it's great.
It's great. It's great. 2,000,001. But I wonder if
2001 penny.
Yeah, I wonder how much the actress is involved sometimes with some of the physicality and what she decides to do during a scene, during the Selena scenes, because there's some like really nuanced kind of like inspired choices she makes sometimes. That business of like balancing on the side of the roof like that. I wonder if that was scripted or if she didn't come up with that.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I wonder that quite a bit with her, where I'm like, are you just like thinking of cool things to do with your hands and your your body in a scene like that, or or is it scripted, or is it always a director?
I don't know.
And I also kind of wonder if maybe she doesn't have like a gymnast background, and
yeah, maybe, but I don't feel like she was doing a lot of that stuff at the very beginning.
Maybe it's not background. Maybe she's doing it now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah. She's gotten training now. Yeah, that's possible. I would think so. You would want to do it. For
or maybe like that's her new passion as she's making the show or something. I don't know. I could look into it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to be it for us today. We will come back again in probably another 4 episodes and just talk about another cluster of these. And
that is a good way of phrasing it.
It really is, isn't it? If you've been watching Gotham, let us know what you think of the show right now. And anyway, folks,
it's a new day.
It's a new day
for formats and how we're reviewing things.
When Penguin said that at the beginning of the season,
yep,
that was the best. Thanks for watching, folks. I'm Captain Logan,
and I'm Eric.
See you, folks.